And that was last minute too.
Yeah.
And he's like, sure. I was like, oh, okay. He said, sure, wicked. We're all good to go. Wicked. My man,
Sweet.
holy shit. I got you in.
Mr. Champion.
Hey, we did it.
We have arrived.
Cheers.
Studio 88.
Let's get that beer into the belly. Okay, today, my special guest, my very first main event. Chris, the Polish Hammer, Horodecki,
That's it, man.
my man.
What's up, Jamie? It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super happy that you made it
I
up.
saw the work you've been doing, man. It looks great. You got some good people coming in. You got some of London's finest right here in house.
Hell yeah.
It's good, man. I'm happy to be here, bro, and it looks great.
Yeah, and you've commentated for me numerous times. You fought my main event for my very first pro show. So it was kind of, I actually, when I first started the podcast, I actually wanted my first guest was to be you.
That's right.
I wanted you to be the first one because it would fall into suit with my first main event. Here's my first guest. It was kind of like like we have like that personal journey together, right?
It's all good. It's all good. How many episodes in you now?
It's just 41.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wicked, man.
Yeah,
That's
and we've
pretty
had
wicked.
we have a ton of good guests on, and now it's just like I just keep bringing on like all the people that I care about.
Yeah, man.
And I want people to know you as who you are, from what I know. So let's just fucking dive right into it. Where did it start for you, bro? Was it taekwondo? Did you taekwondo base? How did that work? Like, how did this work? Because you started really young, and I'm sorry to cut you out, but you were like really like the baby face poster boy for MMA when I first kind of jumped on the scene to kind of seeing it and going, wow, like who's this guy? I remember seeing your picture. Someone showed me a picture of you on their phones. I was like, there's no way that guy fights. And they're like, dude, this guy's fucking beating everybody, like left, right, and center. So how did that journey start?
Yeah, man. I started pretty early, man. I started doing martial arts, traditional martial arts at the age of 6. Started doing karate. And
Is that with Bernardo?
No, it was John Marshall here in town. He's one of the top karate instructors in the city. He's been around the city for decades, right? And 6 years old, kind of, little chunker growing up and just needed to get in shape and, kind of hemmed and hawed. Never really excelled. And then kind of when I started turning into a teenager, I kind of just got like the bug of I wouldn't say the violence. I would say just like the martial arts, just wanting to expand my knowledge and just train. And then I was heavy. I was like 12, 13, and I was heavy in the karate, doing that, traveling, with the team. Like we had a team. We traveled to the U.S. We traveled to upstate New York, Pennsylvania. We were going to tournaments, doing karate tournaments, competing, sparring. It was pretty fucking wicked. Like it was pretty awesome, like growing up. And then, but it was always, I don't want to say sheltered. It was a more contained version of the martial arts, right? And I had a drive inside me. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted to sink my teeth into something more. So my mom, I asked my mom, can I go to the boxing gym? She's like, okay. Well, I'm already spending money with this guy. I don't want to go spend any more money. She took me to the gym. I took her to the gym, and boxing gyms are filthy.
Yep.
They're disgusting.
Where's that? All Nations?
I think it was Ring London. All Nations. I think it was Ring London.
Which location?
One on Adelaide.
Ring London.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah.
I remember that. Old school. And I was like, no, you can't come here. There's no way. And like within like a month later, Sean Tompkins did a seminar at my karate studio at the dojo, because if you know Sean Tompkins, if you look into his history, his lineage, he's martial arts based. He's traditional martial arts. He's a world champion in karate before.
His kickboxing was like 50-0 or something.
Yeah,
like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was just a savage. So him and John Marshall kind of collaborated, and then he did a seminar, and I went to that first seminar. And it was an MMA seminar. And I was just like, wow. The size of this guy's calves are fucking humongous. But if you've ever spoke with Sean Tompkins, you know how he can captivate the room. he captures like the audience, and that's what he did. Like I saw him, and I was just like, wow, everything this guy's showing, it's so simple, it's so basic, but it's like so effective. So I was like, I got to train with this guy, and then he started running a program at the dojo, and within.
And how old were you?
I was 13.
Okay.
That first day was like I remember the date like I was in the 8th grade. I was in February of the 8th grade, and Sean from the seminar, his first class was in February, and then it was me, Stout, Hominick. We were all at that first class.
Mm-hmm.
We knew nothing, right? Like Sam knew nothing, I knew nothing. Like really, just kids. You know what I mean? Hominick was 18, 19, 18. Stout was 16. So I was 13, but just hooked. And like, you know what you've done martial arts. You've trained, you've been around, like that bug when it hits you and you feel it, right? You just want more. Yeah. And I was there every day. We would travel on the weekend. We'd go, and we got my first taste of like sparring, full contact, like no touch, no semi-contact. It was full contact sparring. And Sean would like run. He'd line up all the students. So myself, Sam, Mark, everybody who's been here, done that. Like they would be lined up, and he would do a round with everybody. And I got back the first time, my nose bloodied up. So I'm bleeding, I'm gushing, and then I'm just like, wow, this is it. And then I knew right then, like, this is the guy. Yeah. So then shortly after, I was fighting in my first amateur fight, like smoker fight, within that first 6 months. So,
where'd you do that? In the gym?
In the gym.
Who'd you fight? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was one of the other, like, one of his other fighters, right? But it was whatever. Like, you're fighting the thing is, people think exhibition, they think smoker fights. It's a real deal. Like,
sure it is.
100%.
Sure it is. Yeah.
You put yourself in front of a group of 200, 100. Hell, you put anybody. You fight in front of your dad. You got to put up. You know what I mean? You can't put up. Like, if you don't put up, you shut up, right? So the pressure's on, and that was it. Like, that was the first moment. I shortly after was doing MMA. So at that time, Hominick he was the guy who was competing, right? Like, he was kind of the first one to jump into the MMA scene, right? He fought Richard Nanku at the UCC, TKO before that, the UCC. And that same night, I remember being there, and I must have been super young, maybe 15, and seeing Hominick compete there, and he won the title. And GSP fought Justin Brookman.
Yeah, Brookman's coming on in the
that's
next
amazing.
couple of weeks.
That's amazing. So he fought Justin Brookman. So this is before nobody knew GSP. Nobody knew anybody of this. Nobody knew, and that was like the beginning of the Canadian MMA. There was the before. There was the Carlos Newton. There was, the Harold Howard. But like, this is like the modern MMA era, which we live in right now. Like, that was the birth, right? And I was there, and I was just like, wow, I can't wait. I'm going to be there.
Because you guys had that Ontario-Quebec rivalry
for quite some time.
Was that
for quite
Steve,
some time.
Steve Cleveau's guy?
Cleveau,
yeah.
TriStar, Martin Grandma. Like, we battled. We were obviously against. We were the away team, right? We were in enemy territory every single time. But the French respected our style because there was no bullshit. There was no jiu-jitsu. There was no takedown. It was,
you guys were predominantly strikers.
Just bang, right? And they loved it. Montreal, it's got a reputation for boxing, striking. I don't think the most of the referees at that time knew how to spell jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Referees, like, they were standing people up, hit the ground, 30 seconds. Get the hell up. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what's going on. So.
And you guys fought in rings back then.
We fought in rings, which was super cool, man. Which was like a throwback, right? Because Pride, the ring. I think it's more spectator friendly.
For sure.
But
you like ring better than cage?
Well, yeah. I don't know. I do. It's clean. It looks clean. But like now, it's 2020, you're looking at 2005. So I like the ring. I enjoyed it. I liked how people can see. It makes for entertaining fights. So
now you went on a gigantic tear in the IFL. Now, how did the IFL thing come about? How did that transition? Like, how did you get onto the team? Was that obviously with Sean? Explain that. Explain it to somebody who has no idea what the IFL is.
So I turned pro in 2000. I want to say 2008. Oh, 17. No. Shoot, 2005. I turned pro in 2005. So I missed my prom to fight my first pro fight. Yeah. I was just like, I remember telling Sean that too, and I was like, Sean, it's my prom. Like, I may want to go to that. He's like, he can go next year. Yeah. I never went next year, but I went to a few after prom parties. So Christoph Szynski, he ran a show in Winnipeg, and everybody knows him. So kind of his training with us brought him to the IFL, brought him to the UFC, kind of brought him everywhere. But he put on a show in Winnipeg, and I fought on one of his shows, was in the center of the card, no big deal. Ended up fighting a guy from one of the Winnipeg gyms, Mundarukas, I believe. Super nice guy. Now I actually saw him last time I was in Winnipeg with Matty Havorka. So super cool guy. Matt McDonald, that was his name. Fuck, so many fights, so many years, right? And fought him. Got a doctor stoppage from elbows. Just because that was the first fight, I was like, you know what? I can throw elbows. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I saw Randy Couture do this. Like, I'm gonna do this. So I did. It went great. And then right after that, so that was June, because that's when school finishes. And then September, so I was 17 at the time, and you weren't allowed to fight professional in the province of Quebec. Things kind of get brushed under the rug in Manitoba. Mm-hmm. But in the province of Quebec, you weren't allowed to fight professional until the 18. So my birthday, September 24, and it was like September 26, 28 was the TKO. So myself, Hominick fought, I think Stout fought too. And I fought Stéphane Laliberté. And he was a guy that actually both Hominick knocked out and Stout knocked out. So he's coming seeking revenge. Mm-hmm. And I got like a first round KO with a head kick.
Yeah. Is that there's a famous picture I see at the gym. Red shorts. You got this, you're all jacked. You got this big giant head kick. You look like a little boy.
I had a few of them. I had a few of them in the TKO.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the first one. And then went on a bit of a tear there. So I had 4 fights there. So it was 5-0. And I just actually fought Mike Bell, who's a guy from Edmonton. And a guy, I think he took it. I'm pretty sure he took it on last minute notice. I'm not even entirely sure. But I was supposed to clean him up. Like, that was like, okay, Chris has got this. Like, he's 4-0 at the time. And if you ever watch the TKO intros, I get dropped on my ass at the start. Yeah, trading hooks, and I had my hand down. And I was rocked. I was shook. And I came back after that first round. That was in the first round. And I came back and I took him down and I ground and pound and I got the win. But I was still like concussed once the fight was over. I think I remember I sat on his lap. He was in the corner, like he was like. I think I sat on his lap. I'm like, yo, man, good fight. So, but yeah, after that was when I got a call for the IFL, and Bossroom needed somebody to fill in. So what it was, the International Fight League. So this was a concept designed by Kurt Otto and Garib Sheamus. So 2 guys from New York, New Jersey area. Garib, actually, one of the main investors, and like the president of the company, co-president, he was a comic book guy. So he owned Wizard comic books. Okay. So this is like a huge festival convention that ran from city to city, traveled the United States. And they put in this comic book show. And so they got into fighting. So he was, I think, Kurt, his partner, was jiu-jitsu with Renzo Gracie. Like, he trained in New York and Manhattan, and they wanted an idea. They had an idea, a concept, which was, okay, we're gonna bring the best coaches in MMA. So you had the likes of Boss Rutan, which I fought for, Pat Miletich, which is like people this day don't even know who Pat Miletich is.
Really?
Like, he's the legend.
Hell yeah.
Legend.
Matt Lidlin.
We had Carlos Newton was there. Renzo Gracie. Like, the cream of the crop. And so they would all bring 5 guys. So lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. And they send their team, and it's basically a team fight. So like a dual meet in wrestling. And they'd so you fight, you're prepared, you're gonna fight this guy, and it was a wicked concept, and it's been tried after with kickboxing, but it just didn't stick around. They had the concept was great. They paid generously. They took care of the fighters. They had a monthly salary that they paid the fighters, which it's non-existent anymore, just to kind of take care of yourself, make sure you're
like a team.
You're able to train. You know what I mean? So it was a wicked concept, and I got so Sean. He originally wanted Sam. Boss wanted Sam, but Sam was tied up or whatever, and said, "I got Chris." And then I came out. I think I came out to a trial or to like a workout or something, and no, the fight was signed. Like Boss had so much trust in Sean. Because of the relationship, he's like, okay, whatever you want, whoever you got, like, I trust you. And I got there, and he's like, who the hell is this kid? Right? He's like, oh my God, Sean, we're done. Because I was fighting a Renzo Gracie black belt.
Yeah, and you look like a little boy.
18 years old, and
look like you were 12.
Yeah,
baby
and,
face.
Came out, got another head kick. So, and then just things started moving, man. So IFL, and I think I went 12-0. Till I lost my first fight to Ryan Schultz, which was, I actually knocked him out with a head kick. Yeah. Prior, he caught me on my back. He ground and pound, but it's the way it is. So did that. Fought for, at that time, was supposed to be signed with Affliction, which that all went under. So
because Mark signed too, didn't he, at the time? That was, they were bringing a Fedor over.
Yep. So they brought Fedor in. So Affliction was pretty cool, man. Like, just being part of that, like part of Fedor, part of like the Andrei Arlovsky. This was like at that time, it was like 2008. You know what I mean? Everybody had Affliction shirt. Yeah. Everybody, every guy, every tough guy had one. And so it was just, the concept was like, okay, this is it. They're coming in. They're taking over. They're signing the biggest names. They're paying top dollar for everybody, but they folded. So
yeah, they did one event, or did they even get one event?
No, they got one off. Got one off. By the time the second one was coming, and we were ready to fight, everything got canceled. I think Josh Barnett was supposed to be the main event. That's right. And he tested positive for steroids, and they pulled the plug last minute. We were in Anaheim, ready to go, and they pulled the plug last minute. So, yeah. So,
and then you went to WEC, Bellator. Man, you've kind of been all around. Did you fight in Japan?
I did. I fought in shoot boxing, which is kickboxing with takedowns. So I fought in the S Cup. It was an incredible experience. Something I really hope every fighter who's in tune with the martial arts gets to experience, because it's an incredible experience. Japan is a different. You've been to Asia, you know what it's like, right? Like it's such a culture shock, but the respect that the fans and the people have there for the athletes, for the fighters, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's silence during the fight. Gentle clapping when they really applaud.
No roars, no screaming.
Nobody's screaming. Nobody's elbow him. Nobody's trash. No one's yelling kill him. You know what I mean? It's a cool tradition and culture to be in, right? And Japan's incredible too.
Is it like unnerving in that kind of situation to go from like loud crowds to this like quiet, almost like golf crowd?
Maybe you roll with the punches, right? You gotta adapt to the circumstances. But I think it's super cool. Like you can hear your coach crystal clear.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always noticed about all you guys under Sean Tompkins was that you guys listened to him like he was whatever he said. You guys were like right on it, man.
Yeah, he kind of programmed us. Like the way he ran the corner was very like authoritative. You know what I mean? But he built that confidence. Like he was able to create a confidence in you that allowed us to succeed. And like I said at the beginning of this, like the way he captured the room and the way he made you feel, the belief he gave you, like it was second to none, right? And that's why he was so sought after, right? And that's why you saw people like Randy Couture, Vitor Belfort seek his guidance, right? Just because of the presence he had in the corner. And so, but like me, Mark, Sam, it was like a program, right? Like we were programmed. We did the combos over and over and over and over and over again. And he pad work with him every day, right? Like he was quite beat up, you know, like the impact, shoulders, like he would hold.
So I held pads for you one time.
Yep.
It was for a promo video.
Yeah.
And I remember after the session of holding pads for you the whole time, I was like, holy fuck, you can do that every day, not just with you, but with this killer, with that killer, with this. Like, I couldn't imagine.
And with some like heavyweights, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, 155, 145, but like heavyweights, you know, Mark Coleman. Like, those were
you got to meet a lot of cool people. Eh?
Yeah.
You still talk to a lot of these guys now?
You know what? I touch, it's social media keeps it easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the people in Vegas, the crew that we had there, you know, the Jay Harons, the Mike Piles, Gray Maynard, Tyson Griffin, like we still keep messages around there. I was pretty fortunate because I got to go and I got to experience the Vegas crew, right? And like the people that are there now, which is like John Wood, who runs Syndicate, and the coaching staff at Extreme Couture, right? Like we were there when it first started, when it first opened, you know what I mean? Like grand opening. And then I got to experience the TriStar, be there, Faraz Sahabi, be under his guidance, and once Sean passed, and get to see that corner, and see Jeff Curran. I've worked with him, so I've got to travel. I've got to experience like the different, you know, you're looking at the West Coast, the Californias, the Vegas, the Canadian scene here in Ontario, the Montreal scene in Quebec, the Midwest scene in Illinois. So I got to kind of bounce around, dip my toes in there. Always loyal though with the team, and always loyal with
Sean.
Our crew never left, right? Our crew is still here to this day, and that's unheard of.
Yeah. Now, do you part owner Adrenaline?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're still there?
Yep.
I know you moved away from the city, but I know that so you come back in and train.
Yep. So I'm there whenever I can be.
How's COVID affected you and all this bullshit?
To be honest with you, man, like for myself, I took COVID. You had to adapt, right? So there's two ways of looking at COVID. Like when people were looking at COVID and people were like, oh, quarantine 15, you know what I mean? And people were just bored to death. Like you got to pick up something to do. You know what I mean? You got to adapt. So just from a personal perspective, if you didn't get better out of COVID, like that's an issue. You know what I mean? Like you had 4 months to sit on your ass.
Yeah.
If you wasted 4 months of your life, like there's an issue there, right? But just constant growth. You know what I mean? Learning, adapting, teaching. So what we've incorporated straight with the gym. Let's get with the gym. We were shut down, right? There was nobody allowed to come in, and martial arts was stage 3 at the latest set, right? Because of the close contact, the close proximity. You got to be with somebody to be able to train. But we developed an application, so now people, when they come in, they sign up through the app, which controls the amount of people that come in to the facility, which makes it much more easier for us to monitor, right? So just development of that, you know, just expanding my knowledge, you know, reading more, taking my body into better health, you know what I mean? But like, there's a lot of people that didn't do that, right? Like COVID affected them very badly.
Mm-hmm.
They come out worse than they came in.
It's true.
So
COVID 15
exactly.
pounds. That's crazy. Now, a lot of people don't, if people don't know, but you fought Cowboy.
Yeah. So the last...
How was that? Like, how do you like seeing him, how much he's progressed so far? And knowing that you fought him in a prime of his life, which is crazy. Like, I didn't know that until it wasn't even too long ago. I think I was looking, I was probably talking about you to somebody, and I happened to like scan through who you're from. I was like, oh fuck, that's right, he fought Cowboy. Yeah. And that was through WC. Tell me about that.
The last World Extreme Cage Fighting show that they had before they conglomerated with the UFC, and they put everything together. So the WC was owned. If you don't know, was owned by the UFC. It was Dana White. The last show in Arizona, the same show where the infamous Showtime kick, Anthony Pettis, Benson Henderson. So I fought Cowboy that same night. Went to the second round, got caught in a triangle. Arguably, I thought I won the first. If I won the fight, maybe life would have been a little different.
You think?
Well, they cut my contract after the fight.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, even coming off losses, got taken in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what enticed their decision, but no regrets. Fight.
No, you've had a great career.
Fight one of the top guys, and I think I did pretty damn well against him.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy for his success. He's done well.
Mm-hmm.
He's done very well. He's put a lot of miles on his body. 50 plus fights.
Yeah,
but
it's a tough sport, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys put yourselves through grueling, and you guys are super known for beating the shit out of each other and sparring. Like,
yeah. Probably shortened a lot of careers.
Yeah. Would you do things differently?
Probably, but like the thing. Look, you gotta spar hard, but you don't gotta do as much as we did. The thing is, when you battle like that and you're taking that trauma, it's short. Like, we all have a timeline, right? Our brains, they don't rebuild. You know what I mean? We don't get back our chins, right? So we sparred hard, man. We went to war. I remember in Vegas, before a sparring session in Vegas, it was like going in a fight day. Like, you had anxiety. Like, it wasn't like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna spar. Like, it was like you're driving to the gym. You're going into a Shark Tank. So we used to Shark Tank every day in Vegas, every sparring day. So 3 days a week. 3 days a week we Shark Tank. And if anyone's done a Shark Tank, that means you're getting a fresh person on you every minute. So you did your fight length, so 3 rounds of 5 minutes of a fresh person with the likes of like Tyson Griffin, Gray Maynard, Mac Danzig, Jay Haran, like people that cream of the crop, right? So it was probably not the smartest move, but if you didn't do it, you develop a different type of intensity. You know what I mean? You develop a confidence to know that you can be in war, right? People don't do that anymore like this. I don't see as many people Shark Tanking. Not by no means no one Shark Tanking 3 days a week, but
not the way you guys did it. People may Shark Tank, but it's not to the
It's
extreme.
not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people are like, they know. And the thing is, MMA is such a new sport. But the rules still the same, right? Like, you can't retrain your chin. You can't that doesn't come back, right? You got to play smart, right? You got to conserve your body correctly. I think taking account for mobility and recovery would probably be a thing that I would stress, and I would stress all athletes to do. To take honest to God, like taking that half hour and working on your mobility, working stretching, get with a stretch therapist, get with someone who knows what they're doing, and let them guide you, because that helps, man. That's just putting fresh oil in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every 5,000 K, like you're doing it, like you're being proactive, right? So
and you guys never did any of that
not
stuff?
as much as we should. Never as much as we should. You know what I mean? A little bit, but not as much. Mm-hmm. And I think that strongly increases your longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wouldn't change a thing. Things are great.
No, you've had a great career. I was so honored to have you as my main event.
Yeah,
and I remember negotiating with you at the time, and I was like, it was my very first pro show, and I was like, wow, like who's gonna headline this card? And to be honest, I thought you were completely out of reach. I was like, I'm not even gonna talk to him because he's not gonna fight for me. But it was hometown. It was like an opportunity to fight at home in front of your friends and family. And I remember you saying, hey, I need tickets for my dad. And like, you were and it was something that I'll never forget. You know, it was like, it was literally, you believed in me, man. You were like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like main event. I remember we lost the fight. You were supposed to fight,
Cardinal, maybe? I don't know.
No. Cardinal's the one when you clash heads in Sarnia on Woody's show, right? What happened there? Just a headbutt or
just a headbutt. I think we just
no contest.
Yeah,
that's right.
After the fight, got a nice beauty mark.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember him by.
That's hilarious. And then you fight Frank
Carabello.
Carabello, yeah.
But it was such a cool experience, man, and to be able to fight in London, and it's truly something. If you're a fighter. Fighting in your hometown, it's a different beast.
Yeah,
it's a different beast.
That was the biggest show I've ever done.
Yeah,
was that first one with you?
Yeah,
and it was packed to the rafters. The floors were packed. Everywhere you looked, it was packed. I remember the venue going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it was pretty fucking.
It was super cool, man.
It's a cool experience, and I remember I was so confident and sick camp, trained at TriStar. Killer camp, you know what I mean? Training with GSP, and there's like, how can you not sleep confidently? You know what I mean? And then that day, fight day, I think I stayed in the hotel. I don't even remember. We probably stayed in the hotel with Malcolm. But I remember driving there, and I drove myself, and I got in my car, and I'm like, holy shit, here you go. All these people are coming to see you. And it hit me. On the drive over, I was just like, it's real. It's time. It's time. And it was a cool, man. Cool experience. Super cool experience that people love or hating fighting at home. They love or hate it, right? It's not.
Was the pressure different? I mean, you were used to high pressure stuff.
Yeah. But it's different, right? Just because you walk through the crowd, it's your boys. You know what I mean? It's your family. It's different, right? Mm-hmm. But it's something you got to do. And people from small town, which if you're fighting in MMA, you're probably at a bigger gym, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to experience that. It's a cool. Right now there's no fights anywhere, but
yeah, and I'm choked.
Yeah. So what's happening, Jamie? You tell me. What's going on?
Well, I talked to the commission a couple days ago. Luke, who's the commissioner now, he took over for Ken Hayashi. He's actually coming on the podcast the next couple of weeks. I'm trying to get him in to kind of go over all this to see what's happening. Ontario Health Board there's no public events. The commission's not even back at work. So it's literally, we're just like twiddling thumbs, man.
And Ontario doesn't move quick.
No, and anywhere doesn't really move quick right now. It's fucked up times, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I don't think it's gonna slow down right now either.
You know, it was cool to see Malcolm go UFC.
Yeah, incredible.
You know, I like seeing that these guys are still getting opportunities. The guys that are on the next level.
Yep.
You know, it's nice to see that there's still opportunity.
And Malcolm's ready. He's been ready.
He's been ready for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think sitting idle in a state of limbo, you don't know what the hell's happening. You know. It's tough to stay motivated like that. You know what I mean? It's very tough. You don't have a job, really. Yeah, because he's full-time fighter. He doesn't. Yeah. He works in Toronto. He moved to Toronto. Yeah. Me and my girlfriend were going tomorrow. Actually, his engagement party. So him and his girlfriend. He's on next Friday. Okay, sweet, yeah, nice, nice, beautiful. Yeah. So tomorrow he's having his engagement party. So we're going down to Toronto. Yeah. But yeah, he works for Toronto BJJ as one of the gym managers. Yep, George Brito. Mm-hmm. So that was he fought on my last card in June. Incredible, and dude, like what a presence. Yeah, he's got there's something about him. Yeah,
that he's got an aura around
it's
him.
exactly, you know what I mean? Like he's a leader, right?
Because he's your lineage for jiu-jitsu, right?
He's Malcolm's lineage. So
Okay.
adrenaline, MMA.
Explain this for somebody that doesn't understand.
So jiu-jitsu and the black belt and who your school is under. So to be able to compete on various competitions in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you need to be under a Brazilian lineage. So
whether it's Gracie's,
exactly, whether the Gracie Bajas, the Jiu-Jitsu for Life team, which is George Brito. So Malcolm went to Toronto when he moved for his girlfriend, and he decided to make that his camp. So he got under George Brito, which is the best, like the cream of the crop of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like if you ever train with him, and like a different mindset. It's not just like a sport mindset; it's a fighting mindset, right? Because he's a fighter. He's a fighter. Like he's a badass.
See, nobody knows, but he injured his shoulder.
Yep. I knew.
A week before the fight.
Yeah.
And when I got the call, it was Reno, actually, Belcastro called me. He's like, listen, he fucked up his shoulder, but he's one of those guys, it didn't matter. Yeah. He was going to fight. He could have lost his arm. Yeah. He would have said, stitch it up, let's fight. Like he was going through with it no matter what.
I saw him because Malcolm was preparing to fight. This was at the beginning of COVID, so your last show was right at the start of this.
It was a week later that everything shut down.
Everything shut down. Yeah. So this was in
March.
March.
Just got it done.
Yeah. Thankfully. So I remember I had just came back from a trip. I actually went to Colombia with my girlfriend Ange, and then we stopped when we were in Toronto. I was gonna go corner Malcolm in Brazil. He was actually gonna he was just signed a contract for Brave FC, and he was training, and he got a sparring session planned. And I had just landed, so I'm like, okay, sweet, let's I'll come help you out, whatever. So I watched him do a sparring session, and then I saw George. George was there coaching and all that, and he's like, yeah. I go, George, this is a week out from his fight. I'm like, George, how you doing? He's like, I just got the MRI result. No good, but it's no problem. I fight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So crazy. Yeah, he basically had a torn everything in his shoulder, and he still fought. And if anybody knows jiu-jitsu, you need to use your shoulder. You need your labrum. You need your rotator cuff. You got to pull. You got to push. And a guy who's predominantly, black belt in jiu-jitsu, like 3rd, 4th, 5th degree, whatever, he wants to take it to the mat. And so, tough.
Yeah, he fought a guy who was like a complete wild man.
Yeah.
Like
what was his name?
Lloyd Galindo. Yeah, and he's out of Quebec. He trains with Jamie.
Yep.
Forgive me.
Jamie
McGowan.
Okay.
Right. So at a Victory, and I met him in the hotel. Didn't speak any English. Straight French. Super great guy. Very friendly. And then it was like when the fight happened, and then it was like he was like a fucking madman. He was like literally. I was like, whoa, like this dude's legit.
Yeah. And
then he got that big gash. George Brito got that gigantic gash across his forehead, and then they stopped the fight.
Right.
And it was really sad that I didn't want to see him. I kind of wanted to see him go out with a W.
Yeah.
It was because in his head, and he was very vocal about it being his last fight.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough going into a fight with injury, with a serious injury like that. You
at home too, like in
Toronto.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Good for you though. You're expanding. You're hitting different cities.
Yeah, it's about growth, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. One of the best pieces of advice about the fights I got from you. And I remember I said to you one day, it was after the first time you fought, and we were going into the second show, and I said to you, hey bro, how can I make this better? Like, what do you think I can do as a promoter? Like, event wise, what could I change so that the experience is better for the fighter? And you said, Jamie, my man, you have to have a big walkout. Like you need to have lights. You need to like make the walkout be. That's what I would do. That's what. And ever since then, I've always been okay. Let's put the lights, put the catwalk. Let's make it so it's like a big grand entrance. Because the first show you walk through the crowd, which is cool too. Though.
Yeah. No, it's sick. Yeah, it makes a difference, right? And I think like you're doing it out there, right? Like you're for Canadian MMA scene, like you're out there. You're the top right now, right? So it's like you're people are going to the UFC from your show. So it means a lot.
TJ, you train with TJ?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm close with Reno and the crew over there. Yeah. I cornered Kyle Prepelec when he fought in the UFC in Vancouver.
That was Austin Hubbard.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, incredible for TJ, like to be able to pull that off in like such dominant style. And I looked at those arm bars looked tight.
I was screaming at my phone, bro. I was like, no, like, cause I was at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you get out. But he said it was like, no, he wasn't in trouble. And him kind of reminding me sort of how you started out, like very, very young in the game, and you get the itch to go back, man.
No.
Really? Eh?
Like I do, but I see these what they put themselves through.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Like I love fighting, but like I see when I was starting up and I see, for example, there was a guy that Malcolm trained with, Patchy Mix, a guy from Bellator, undefeated. And I listened to him and he's just like, I travel. All I do is train. I go to Greg Jackson's, I train. I go here, that's it. I just train. And it's like, you need that mindset. This is the next generation. You know what I mean? Now, I work. I got a couple houses on the go. Like I got a business. I'm busy. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as it was to just train, and that's your life.
Now, do you think the fire is out? The show's out there?
If you look statistically at the record of Team Tompkins, and you will see that there's a heavy decline since 9 years ago. Not that far from this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because there was and I mean this respectfully, like you could tell, like there was a different fire, a different glimmer. You guys had a somber look.
Yeah,
you could see it in your faces. It was like
because it was different. It was different. It was not the same when you're so used to one person controlling everything and being your manager. Even though we had managers, he was our manager, right? He was the middleman. I was never discussing fights. I never called my manager for the fight. It was Sean. It would just be like there would be the third, the middleman. It just that's how it was, and just a different vibe. But too early, he left us, and miss him.
I really wish I got to work with him. To be honest, like I it's one of those things. Like fuck, man. I wish I had even when you fought for me, he wasn't around.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool to kind of actually deal with him on a professional level to see, because he had such an effect on so many people.
Yeah.
And I was never fortunate enough to experience that.
Yeah.
But it's like definitely changed, it changed a lot for you guys. But now you're giving back.
Yeah. And I think like we haven't in martial arts, you never just want to just train, right? Like it's a lot deeper, right? And being able to pass knowledge and be able to continue your legacy, because at the end of the day, that's all what it is, right? At the end of the day, we're all going to be gone. So keep your teaching, and I can see it, like, and it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool when I see people teaching, and it's just like sound like me. I don't know if you met Raghu.
Mm-hmm. Ragu? Yeah, he fought for me on a kickboxing show.
He fought for me on a kickboxing show, and I listen to him, and I like, oh my god, it's like I'm hearing myself with an Indian accent. I'm like, it's right there. Like it's really cool, man. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see your teachings get passed on, because that's what it is.
Because really, it's still passing on the Sean Tompkins.
Yeah,
It's the same.
And that's what he created, and it's like that lineage. And like we said, lineage. So let's go back. Sorry, I'll finish this lineage.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
the lineage. So we're under GFT team, which is grappling fight team under Jake McKenzie, who's the Canadian representative here in Canada. So he promoted Rowan Cunningham to a second degree, as well as Jesse Goff, our jiu-jitsu coach at Adrenaline, to first degree, to his black belt. So that's who Adrenaline MMA.
Jesse has the best taste in music.
Yeah.
Hands down, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I when the first time I ever met him, I remember walking into Adrenaline, and it was like for the first time, and it was as the promoter, and nobody fucking likes their promoter, and you have to break down a lot of walls with people.
Well, it's tough too because you're coming in, and I'll commend you this, Jamie, because when a promoter comes in and they're not a fighter, people always, you get a lot more respect if you were a fighter. If you had like, I'm not saying if you huge, but like if you come in and you're like, okay, you've been there, you've done that, you know what I mean. You've been in these shoes, but you do a good job because you're able to get that. Okay, this is a real man. Like he's real. He's not trying to fuck me. You know what I mean? Like he's looking for the greater good, especially in London, right? So that, and like I commend you for that, for sure, definitely, because you've got a good reputation and good respect from fighters, which is great, which is amazing.
Yeah, it was and I didn't call myself a promoter for a very long time. I hated saying it. I hated saying, I'm the promoter. I never wanted to say it because of the bad feelings that people automatically, their walls go up. They're like, he's a promoter. He's gonna rip me off. He's gonna. I seen James Clark. I think the other day posted the other day. Never trust the promoter. Rule number 1: don't trust the promoter. Yeah, that's hard to take because I'm like, man, like I do have your best interest. If you're with me and I want to see you be successful, I want to be a part of that journey. Yeah. So I always had to break down those walls, and it took a long time for people to realize that, hey, like I do give a shit about you, I give a shit about your career. I want to see the best for everybody, and I want to put on the best fucking shows that I can. The best shows. I want to be the best in the country. And it's time. It's the grind. It's
Just out of curiosity, like when you first met Jamie, were you weary, or like were you like, what was that like when you first met him?
It was I give everybody a chance. You know what I mean? I give everybody a chance. And I think I was just really excited to fight because they tried to do the fights here before. And again, that flew by the wayside, right? They did it at the Labatt's.
They brought in, that was Carl Parisian versus Ryan Ford.
That's right. And so they did it at like the Budweiser. Maybe it was called Labatt's at that time, but maybe it was Budweiser.
Yeah. It was the JLC at the time. I remember when it came out because I was like, oh, this is cool.
And nobody was there. Nobody. They only had, and a good friend of mine, James Hort, he fought on it. But I think he was the only one from London. And the only one from our school.
He fought Chucky.
Chucky Matey. Yeah. And he was the only one from London. Now you tell me, you come into a city that's never had mixed martial arts before, and you're going to put Carl Parisian, UFC vet, fought GSP, judo black belt, wicked, Ryan Ford, amazing fighter. Nobody knows who they are. Right. And nobody was there.
Yeah. And they came in at a time, too, when MMA was just legal in the province. Yeah. So they had all these hiccups. I mean, I see Ken Hayashi was the worst to deal with because he wasn't for the sport. It was so new and really was geared for the UFC. Yeah. It wasn't for grassroots. Yeah. So it was a lot harder for it. Like, even doing belt proposals, man, I don't know how many guys I tried to get for you to fight, and it was always declined. He kept declining. Nope. And he knew who you were. He's like, nope, he's too good. Nope, he's too good. Nope, not this guy. So like, fuck. He was trying to get as close to home as possible because it's expensive, right? But Jason Dent. Yeah, that's who you were supposed to fight. Yeah. And then he pulled up with a knee injury the week before the fight. That's right. And then that's why I have the best matchmakers too, because they pulled it off.
Woodrow James.
Yeah. And
Woodrow James.
And Alex Caparici, but I remember I got the call. They said, Dan is hurt. And you were my main event. And it was like you were so popular. Like everybody, I knew everybody was coming to see. Well, the card was all stacked with such great talent. And it was Gross and Shannon. Like you had the whole Adrenaline crew. Everybody was on board, the whole gym.
But you need to do that if you're coming to the city, right? You got to do that. Like you want to have people there to see their people.
Well, even the UFC does it.
Yeah.
You know, they go to a city,
yeah.
they stack it with the local talent.
You have to. It just it gives it that meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives it that substance. And
yeah.
Of course, sure, you want to have a main event, big name fighter, Carl Parisian. You know what I mean? But it's.
How come they didn't get you on that card?
I must have been signed. I must have been Bellator. I must have been something.
Yeah.
I must have been signed.
Bellator was a lot different back then too, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Great.
Was it Coker when you fought for Bellator?
Nope. It was
Rebney.
Bjorn Rebney.
That's right. Okay. Wow.
That's it.
It's amazing how far he's taken it, eh?
Yeah. And he's done well. Very well. And people love it.
Mm-hmm.
People love Bellator. Like, and they're very happy, right? And like, you're getting all like the big names going to Bellator. You're getting Rory McDonald, you know what I mean? You're getting these big names that like people are like, oh, UFC, thank you. They've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go make some money. So,
it's crazy how that works. Eh?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy what I find on the low end, like how the entry level. It's so slow, like so little on the entry level, and then you have the main events that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, pay-per-view points, and all this. Okay, for sure, but you got to start somewhere. You can't be below the poverty line. You know what I mean?
To this date, I won't say the amount, but you're the most expensive person. Like,
Well,
yeah, I was.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, drink to that. Well, cheers to that. Yeah, but you were great at bargaining, but I knew what I was getting.
Everybody wants to get paid what they deserve.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And fighters, you want to leave this sport with something to show for it. You know what I mean? You put miles on your body. You put hours and hours of sacrifice, of time away from family, missing important events, prom, whatever. But the Christmases, the celebrations. It's all, you're so dialed in for the fight. You know what I mean? That's your life. I see a kid like TJ, like he's got it. You know what I mean? He's got it. Like there's the up and coming generation, like they either have it or they don't. You know what I mean? And you can see quickly. I see a guy like you saw him. He just won another belt, Gord Cunningham. I think like a guy like him, like he's got the mean streak. You know what I mean? He's down to fight. Like he can just turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Because when you talk to him outside of, he's not like that at all.
No,
like he's like
you
never even know he was a fighter.
No,
to be honest.
God no. Look at his ears. I think Tommy, my
Theocharis?
long student, Tommy Theocharis, he's got it. Like he puts the work in. He's training. Like he's got it.
I always hear people talking about him from gym to gym to gym. Yeah. It's like this guy's an enigma. It's like, you train there too? Oh, and you train there too?
So he's looking, he's looking to train. He just needs he needs to have his right foot in the door. I mean, he's got to get out there. Look, success in fighting, it isn't always just skill. It's marketability. It is skill, but it's a whole lot of good luck and timing, right? And unfortunately, with COVID, things are on hold, right? We'll be able to see people progress. It sucks. It really does suck. It's opened up a lot of doors for people that are still in the game, in the mix. Malcolm, ready for the UFC. Nobody wants to fight because everyone's scared about getting sick, getting the virus. So, boom, he's in, right? He's gonna redeem himself. Like he's gonna come back. He's gonna be better. But with the guys on the coming up that aren't there yet, they just need that little bit of luck. You know what I mean? And
a small streak. Good fights. Pick the right fights.
Right fights. Right finish. You know what I mean? Entertain. That's what's gonna sell. That's what'll get you that contract, right? So
who else you got at the gym?
Gord, Tommy, Matty Havorka.
I love Matty. Man.
He's.
I don't know what it is about him.
He's a great kid.
He's like there's just something about him that makes me go like like a brother, you know. Like it was like almost instant friendship.
Yeah. He's just like a good person. You know what I mean? Like a good person. Like he's got your back. You know what I mean? Like he's got your back. I think he's gonna do well. He's been training intensely looking for that comeback, right? Looking to get back in the mix. I think you're gonna see a Polish kid, Matt Bednarek, and he's not that experienced, but I tell you, this kid trains with pros on the daily.
These are the guys you never hear about,
and you will hear.
Yeah.
So you don't know until you know. And I see this kid, and I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. Like, strong kid, and he's in there, and he's getting his ass whooped on a daily by Jesse Ronson. Get your ass whooped is one thing. To come back and do it the next day, that's another, right? So,
and Ronson's not nice.
No, God knows.
Yeah,
he's an evil person if you don't know him, right? So, if you just know him from the gym, he's an evil person, but he's a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Amazing for him. Amazing to see what he just came out with. God, I was on the edge of my seat there.
Really?
With that guy?
Yeah. Was a big guy.
He was a huge guy.
Yeah, huge.
Huge guy. And he's swinging baseball bats at you with his legs.
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, I
think Jesse just said, fuck it. I think he's at that mindset now that he's just like, I'm just going all in. I'm not
he's got to. He's got to. He's there, right? He's there. He's got to do it. Many people would have walked away, and he's still in. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be happy for the guy.
I think he was on
you can't not be happy for the guy. The guy's done it. You know what I mean? Like, he was in the UFC 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Lost split decisions, and he's back. So, resilience, I think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's
he definitely shows, like, if you put your mind to something and you truly really want to do something, and that was always his goal. I just got to get back in there because I need to show that there's more to me. Like, I think there was a lot of pressures at the time. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, you know yourself, when you fight on a big stage like that, the pressure must be intense.
And bro, and like, you're looking at right now, the COVID times, you're flying to Abu Dhabi. First you fly to Vegas, you go London, Toronto to Las Vegas. You're stuck in a hotel room. They swab you right when you get off the plane. They put you in a room for 2 days. No mats, nothing to do. Just shadow box, hit pads. Okay, green light. You get on an 18-hour flight to the Emirates. Like, that's perseverance in itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not easy.
Yeah.
And if you're cutting weight, and thankfully he was fighting at 170, but like, it's like, if you're flying those long flights, it's water retention like crazy. You're not getting adequate, proper food, which is nutrition is paramount in weight cutting and in making weight. Which UFC doesn't matter. You're flying to the other side of the world or what? You got to show up on weight, right? That's it. They're not cutting anybody any losses with that. So to get through that, again, same thing. You get there, they swab you, they test you, and apparently, which a lot of people don't know, he had a false positive. No shit. Yeah, for COVID. So he got when he got there, and basically the day of the fight might not have happened. Wow. He got tested 3 times on fight day.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I bet he was shitting. I bet he was just like, this is, because he was supposed to come on. That's what it was. We had Ronson was supposed to come on last week.
Okay.
So we were supposed to come on and we were just watch the fights, and we're going to recap and kind of catch up with him. And then he's like, listen, I got, fights coming up. I want to be ready. I just want to stay away from just anybody, just in case COVID, just to stay away from people.
Yeah.
And I respect that, man.
Of course.
It's,
makes more sense now too.
It makes more sense now. It makes way more sense now.
Yeah, it's that's why I think these numbers are a little skewed, and I think the world's starting to recognize, like, okay, man, a lot of people are getting sick, a lot of older people, and this virus is real. Like, we people that think the virus isn't real are ignorant. Right, like, this is 100% real. Like, people are dying. I know people that have had it. I know, like, on a personal level, I know people who've had it and, like, are still feeling the effects. So it is real, but the numbers can be skewed too, right? You can get false positives. People can be asymptomatic. Hell, what's his name? Gilbert Burns was gonna fight for the world title, and then he tested positive.
That's crazy,
right?
And he's so healthy.
So to be in tip top shape where you feel like you're ready, world title fight ready, and you test positive for a virus you don't even know you have. So I think the numbers are skewed a little bit, but
this could be like this for a long time. Right?
I think so.
And that's the scary part. Is like you said, you got to adapt. You got to roll with the punches.
You got to change. You got to adapt, and you're gonna see like with industries in the world, like people are changing. People aren't working. People aren't working in big buildings. Like you're gonna see what's gonna happen. All these huge big businesses that are like, oh, they have 200 employees. Well, shit, we don't have to pay anybody any money to come in. Like they can just work from home. So I think the perspective is changing a lot. It's going to be a definite interesting time to tell our grandchildren.
Hell yeah.
They're not even going to believe it. Like they're going to be like, whoa, yeah. When they sit down in the history class, this is going to be like a 3-day lesson.
Yeah. 2020. This is what happened. At the beginning, it happened in China, and it just trickled over, and we had some uprisings, and the politics, and it feels like a dream, bro.
Yeah, crazy. It's crazy that this all started it started in January, right? But like March, we've been on lockdown. Hell, it's August 21st. Like, what is this? This is crazy.
We just got that show off in time, and we kind of joke. We were joking about it amongst each other, my team and I, saying like, "Can you imagine if what if someone got COVID?" I joke because Alex flew in from Montreal and he had the sniffles, and we joked about it. He probably got COVID, and then literally, I remember the day after the show, my wife and daughter and I, we stayed in Toronto, and we just took some time just to kind of let the dust settle and relax. And it was like the numbers are creeping up. It was on the media. It was on the news. The hotel was weird. People were like, this is weird. We're right by the airport. And it was like, and then everything just went boom, 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 boom. And it was like, whoa, we literally just got that show off in time.
Yeah.
Just in time.
What an uncomfortable time at the beginning too. Like,
were you scared?
No, I was never scared. I'm pretty confident. I got a pretty good immune system. If I was more concerned for my grandparents, for my parents. My mom and dad work in essential services, so they're out there. They're not stopping by any means. So I was concerned about that, and it was tough. It was tough to do big like events via Facebook Messenger, you know what I mean? You do it on WhatsApp. You have Easter dinner on WhatsApp. Like it's tough, man.
Yeah, I've been doing Zoom meetings and stuff, and I'm still.
Crazy.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's just weird.
It's not the same. Yeah. It's not the same. The education. I'm very curious what's gonna happen. September is around the corner. Literally, we're a couple weeks away. They're saying they're going full steam at school. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sending my daughter back, and she's 6.
Yeah. And
my wife and I, we discussed it. We said no at first. We're like, nah, let's just homeschool her because we've been doing it since March anyways.
Yeah.
And she's at that age. It's not like it's a high school curriculum and we have to.
But it's hard too. It's hard for you too.
It's super hard.
Right? Like it's not easy because nobody's prepared. Nobody knows, okay, you're going to teach your daughter, you're going to teach her history, or I don't know. I don't know what a 6-year-old even learns anymore, but like.
Yeah, they have a whole curriculum set up on the computer. So they log into it. You log into the site.
Yeah.
And then it's, at that age, it's like recognizing words.
Right.
Memorizing, letters and
so
learning how to read.
Stuff,
it's super simple, but they have to do 4 hours a day.
But you're putting it on you guys as well.
For sure.
You're a parent. You work.
Yeah.
You work full time. Like you're running one of the top promotions in the country, and you got to sit down 4 hours and.
With a 6-year-old who doesn't want to listen to you because you're dad, you're not a teacher. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what was the were they doing teachers in front of Zoom and all that, or in front of the camera, or no?
Wait, at school?
Yeah, for you guys.
I think it's no.
When this originally happened,
when it originally happened, it was we didn't March break, and that was it. It was they never went back to school, so they launched it. It was an online program. They logged in and it tracked your minutes.
Right.
So she had to put in, I think it was like 200 minutes a week or something like that. And then it tracked it, and then the teachers would see their progress. And it's literally, she would sit in the chair, bored, going click, click, doing everything. And then she's like, I'm bored. And I'm like, yeah, but just, you're almost done. Finish it off. Like, just keep going. You'll get it done. You finish it. Click, click. It's not the same as the interaction.
No.
They want to be around other kids. How is that going to work?
And you can't keep kids from being kids.
Touching the face.
A 6-year-old hasn't forgot how to be a kid.
No.
Right? It's awkward. It's weird right now, but you're gonna get a bunch of kids, and kids are filthy. You know what I mean? Like kids
fingers in their mouth. What are they gonna do? And that's what my biggest question is.
It's a big petri dish when you hit the schools, right?
Yeah.
So what's going to prevent a teacher from getting sick? A teacher to passing it to her parents, right?
But what happens when they get a common cold?
Right. And it's going to happen.
Right. It's for sure.
You don't think our immune systems are going to be compromised now because we haven't battled anything? Like, we're so sanitized and so disinfected. And when we see when winter starts coming around and we start seeing some actual illness come around, some flu bugs, some viruses that aren't COVID.
Yeah, we're going to be weak.
We're going to be weak.
On the Ontario Health website, it says diet and nutrition does not help immune system.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
I beg to differ.
So everybody begs to differ. That's when you read that, and that's why I have no faith in the government.
Yeah.
I'm completely now, because of seeing that, I'm like, how could you not want to push good nutrition? Why wouldn't you? That should be the first thing you should be pushing.
I think, and they say that obesity is one of the biggest killers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Diabetes, as well.
Yeah, and okay, yeah, you have COVID, but if you're obese, your body just isn't as resilient. It's not going to fight as well, right? So, I think preventative maintenance is what we should be teaching. Is what I'm sure countries like Germany, that's what they emphasize. You know what I mean? Is being strong in case something like this happens, right? So
that's why the slowdown on the gyms opening up was really
well. I think Ontario did a great job.
Sure, they did. I agree.
And listen, and I'm in the gym industry, and I'm man, I would love to be open 3 months ago. You know what I mean? But in reality, we didn't know. We don't know. And you're looking at the Spanish flu 80 years ago, whatever, 100 years ago, but it wasn't the same circumstances. We didn't live the same way. Information wasn't as readily available. You know what I mean? So people really can't equate the same thing. Yeah, it's a coronavirus, it's a virus, but you can't equate it the same way and how to act, right? I think Ontario did a great job. I think the way that the conservative approach that we did was fantastic. You can't be safe enough, but eventually we have to go back to normal. Eventually, and you see that people are ready. People want to go out. People want to be normal because we're social human beings.
Do you think when everything opens back up and a fight show was to happen, you think everyone would still go?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do because we love it. You know what I mean? But I think the protocol is going to be different. You're going to stagger the seating. You're going to be wearing the masks. Alcohol is going to get involved. All the rules are going to be out. You know what I mean? So
take this mask off. I'm done. Once 10 beers deep, that's it.
It's what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting times. But I miss the past. But again, we got to adapt. We got to change. We'll see. Hopefully we're fighting sooner than later.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I'm itching to get back, man. I miss it. It's been a small toll on my mental.
Yeah.
Just because I had momentum, And,
for sure.
I was ready. I was like,
and you got a good crew too, right?
I have such a great crew, man. My whole team is the best.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. That's important. It's important.
And they're all itching, and we still talk every day, and we still, go through those motions. We talk about it. It just sucks because I'm talking to them every day, but it's not fight related.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah,
this is what it is. But
it is what it is.
Again,
you're seeing, they're doing shows on the res. You know what I mean? They can, because they pretty much can do what they want. But you got the powerhouse still. The UFC still pushing it. you have to maybe travel outside of the country to fight, because there's countries that are a lot lighter restrictions for, like, I'm just saying from the fighter standpoint. Maybe you might go to put a show on in Poland, maybe.
You know, what's fun. It's what's funny is I'm kind of half matchmaking a Brave FC card in Poland.
That's nice.
For the August 28th in September. So I'm kind of going back and working, and I'm saying, hey, like, this is who I know Canadian side that would be willing to go. And I'm saying, like, they like jump on it. And I can't help but to be envious, because I'm like, fuck, you're so lucky that you. And but the fact that they reached out to me made me go, oh, okay, cool. Yes, I want to talk fight stuff. Let's.
Yeah.
You know, I know this guy. He'd be ready. This guy. You know, try that guy, and you know,
that's good.
Just want to get back to normal.
I think everybody does, but when is it gonna come?
You watch the fights a lot? You still watch?
You know what? Honestly, like, I watch the old school. Like, I watch the people that I grew up with, but I don't know, man. Some of these names.
Dar and I were talking about it before you got here, and it was like, do you watch? He's like, Dar goes, do you watch the fights, bro? I'm like, not really.
No, man. Like, my girlfriend knows like the up and comers better than I do. I swear to God, like, if we were in a betting pool, I'd give her the money and let her pick, because like I don't know these people. What's his name? The guy with the tattoos he just got the ankle injury, and he just fought 2 weeks ago. He fought the Ecuadorian guy.
Oh, O'Malley?
O'Malley. Yeah. Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
Like, I didn't see him until he fought on Fight Island. Until he fought Eddie Wineland.
Yeah.
And like, I was interested because I know Eddie Wineland from WC. Like, we fought on the same cards.
Yeah.
And like, it's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. But like, I didn't know about him. There's too many fights. There's too many fighters. This new generation, it's too much. But like, the old school, like I still like the old school. You know, the Shoguns, the Nogueiras, Alistair Overeem. My God, like, he's still fighting. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Still fighting.
Crazy. Taking.
Do you ever go to Holland or?
Never. I'd love to go to Holland. I'd love to go to Holland. Cool. I think like the best kickboxers, better than Thailand, are from Holland.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. They're able to adapt. You know what I mean? They were able to incorporate the Western boxing into that heavy kick, into those heavy low kicks, and like just the way that they ran the show was, they put it together the best. You know what I mean? And like, that's what people hear. Like, they think, oh, you train kickboxing, you train Dutch kickboxing. It's a different game, right?
Absolutely. Did Sean ever take you guys Thailand and all that stuff to Muay Thai?
No, I traveled to Thailand once on my own. It's a mixed training as well as sightseeing trip. So I got to see it.
More sightseeing?
It was a little bit of both. Yeah. Great time. Incredible place. Got very fortunate because one of the training partners I had in Las Vegas, Eric Ersk, he was the MMA wrestling coach at Phuket Top Team.
Okay.
So if you don't know Eric Ersk now, he moved back recently, I believe last year, to San Diego.
Was that Swick's gym? Mike Swick?
No, that's AKA.
That's right. Okay.
Phuket Top Team. So he ran the show. It's a guy actually, a guy from Australia who married. I don't think you're allowed to own a business in Thailand unless you have some sort of married to a Thai or something like that, because there's so many people there, right? So he was married to a Thai. He put up this incredible fight gym that like was awesome training. But I was fortunate enough because Eric was the head MMA coach, so got down there, no familiar face, got to see it, directed me. It's a experience that every fighter should get to do at least once in your life. See Thailand, fight culture,
it's amazing over there.
It's incredible, and anybody who's ever kicked the Thai pad would love it there. I sure did. Like and not even just from the training standpoint, but it's a beautiful country. Beautiful. Like, if you hit it from the top to the bottom, it's so much to see, so much to do. Very, very popularized now because of travel. Like it used to be a hidden gem. Now everybody knows about it. But I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah! Are you planning to go? Once everything opens back up, what's next?
I don't know. Probably go visit Europe.
Yeah.
Go to visit. Maybe go back to Poland. Go visit family and take my girlfriend to see what Poland's like. And we actually just got fortunate enough. We went to Colombia right before everything happened. So
she does jiu-jitsu too.
She does jiu-jitsu,
I see you guys. I used to see her at the gym all the time.
Yeah. And she's a blue belt under James Hort. So she's a little badass, competitive. She's competitive too.
Really?
Like she loves the competition.
Yeah.
So she would put in like 6 competitions, 10 competitions a year, right? And grappling tournaments, super fights.
So when you're cooking dinner or something, she come up behind you and choke you out, or
we have some serious kitchen wrestling matches.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Because you guys have a little home gym.
Yeah, man. So we actually, when COVID all happened, we're like, well, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, we can train together in London at Adrenaline, like, but it's just me and you, right? But it's not super convenient. We live a little bit away, right? So we live outside the city. So we ended up buying mats for the house. And one of the best investments we could have made. Like it's super great. Train, have some local people come by from Forge actually.
Yeah, because Rowan's out.
Rowan's out that way. Yep. So some good people. Colin is blue belt. I got Kevin Glade. He's purple belt over there. Andrew Elliott, wrestling coach, actually over there. He's actually out right now for the foreseeable future just because of ACL surgery. But yeah, it's we got a good crew in this area, and you know that very
Southwestern
well, right?
Ontario.
Southwestern Ontario,
ton of tough guys, great camps, great. Everybody's tough, man.
Yeah.
Like there's so many good guys. That's why the talent pool is so rich to pull from.
Yeah, and I think just because there's not as many fights here, because it's just natural how it is, and you know better than anybody. Like the fight game, to put on shows here is not that easy, and so we don't get that experience. But so with that experience, you have to build in the gym. So people train hard. People don't half-ass their training. So when you get a guy to come from Ontario, they're well prepared from the gym, from training. I feel that's true.
Okay. How are we doing for time?
We're at like an hour 15.
Okay.
Which is about our usual time. But I want to ask a quick question.
Yeah, ask away.
You touched on it a little bit earlier and we kind of just glazed over it. But you were saying about like fighters, they train all this kind of stuff. But you mentioned something about like the poverty line. Are we talking about like regional fighters or like...
Yeah.
We were talking about it and we kind of cut off. I was just curious what you...
Yeah, so I'm just saying like there's a lot of people that are fighting and they need to maintain a second income, right? Like the fighting income won't get them fighting for $1,000, fighting for $500. You can't live off that. Like you really get paid better from collecting social assistance, right? So it's tough. It's tough to make it in the sport. That's what I mean. When you have that entry level, you'd like to see that. Okay, you made it to the UFC. Throw him $50K. Throw him. Let him make a year's salary, like on the low end. Like let them survive. You know what I mean? Let them expand so they're not, slinging hammers during the day. You know what I mean? So
then I was gonna ask, like, with your guys, like you guys mentioned Gordon Cunningham.
Yep.
Sorry, blanked out. So like with these guys, where you say got some, you're looking like down the road.
Yep.
They got some potential. I mean, how do you work with those guys? And this, like you said, they gotta get a second job. But someone like that who's so talented, I don't know, like what goes through your mind when you're looking at people like that and their career going up and what they can do? And I don't know if that makes sense.
So I going back to what I said, you gotta go. The training's got to be spot on, right? And circling yourself with good people, with good guidance. That's gonna help get you to that next level, right? You need a little bit of luck, to be honest. Like you need to have the stars align, and sometimes you gotta have that right call and the timing. The timing is very, very important. But sometimes you gotta risk it. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. You gotta take a shot.
Yeah, take a wild run at it.
And we're in the fight game, so you're shooting. You got to shoot to kill, right? So you can't hide and not fight for the risk of losing. We're in sports. This is sports. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser.
So if you had to give a few pieces of advice to an upcoming fighter, what would you tell them?
Definitely would say most important is circulate yourself around good people, right? You never want to be the top in the room. If you're the top in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? Because you want to be brought up. And this is a system that Sean Tompkins always said to us. It's a ladder system.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the middle of the ladder and there's people above you that are better than you, they're going to pull you up, right? They're going to improve you. But in the same token, if you are you don't need to get your ass kicked every day. You want to feel good, right? So you want to have people that are on the lower end, that you can work on things, that you can perfect certain techniques and improve upon, right? So that's why you want to be in the middle. You don't ever want to be the best. You never want to be the worst. Circulate yourself around positive people, right? That's very, very important. Positive coaching. Immerse yourself in knowledge. Never stop learning. That's a big thing. Mm-hmm. Once you think you know it all, you're dying. And that's true in life. Once you give up on learning, okay, I know everything, I close the book, you're done. You're dying. You're either growing or you're dying. So be on the growing side.
What about managers? What about management in general? Because I've seen a lot of guys fuck their whole careers because they have shitty handlers.
Yeah,
guys who don't have their best interest. What would you say to somebody going through that?
You have to really trust somebody. And I'm not just saying from the manager, from the training standpoint as well. You know what I mean? Your coaching staff, like, you have to trust them. Mm-hmm. The reason why we were so successful was because we had an undeniable trust for Sean Tompkins. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if he said it's gonna make you better if you fucking put your head in that door, you gotta know we're running. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's that trust. And the same with the management, right? Like, it's at the end of the day, it's about dollars and cents for managers, right? But like, you want them to have, you want to have a little bit more of a personal issue, right? Like, you want them to have your best interest, not strictly just for money, but for your well-being, for your health. So it's very, very important. And lastly, you got to fight to win. That's it. You got to go all in, and you got to go all in. And especially the guys coming up who are there, go all in, 100%.
All in or
all
nothing.
Chips in,
with everything.
Yeah, man.
Now, do you have a tattoo on your shin? Like,
I don't. I'm pure.
You never did.
I never got a tattoo. I'm just.
The reason I asked that because I know Sam and Mark have the tattoo on their.
Sam, Mark.
What is that? I forgot to ask.
So
Sammy
it's a tattoo actually from Sean that says "Fight, Spirit, Pride."
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I forgot to ask him, and I was like, oh, fuck. And you don't think of things until after. And
yeah.
You go, oh, man, I should have asked him this. Oh, I should have asked him that. I need to start writing shit down. Well, tell everybody where we can find you, bro.
Just check me out, guys. Instagram, Facebook, at Chris Horodecki, one word.
And you do offer private training and stuff like that?
Yep.
Do one-on-ones?
Yep. So private training, Adrenaline MMA. Check out the academy, adrenalinemmA.ca. It's been a pleasure, Jamie.
You're the fucking man, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, man.
You're the man. Wicked.